Somewhere along the way in the last few months, I got a bug up my butt to get into RC car racing. I went and I checked out Rick's Hobby Farm in Richmond, Wisconsin, got a lay of the land, saw what everybody was running, asked a bunch of questions, and then I came back home, and the next day I recorded a video where you can see me purchase this Tekno EB48 2.2 and everything that I needed to build it. Fast forward a month and a half, 2 months, there's now a whole playlist on my channel where you can see me get all of those components that we ordered, and then we did several videos on the build of this new buggy. And it's all culminated to this. The completed product is right here in front of us. This is my first RC kit. Really just a complete blast to build. I had a lot of fun in building it. It was very enjoyable. There were only a couple small issues that we're going to get into, but I've said it in past videos, how well I feel like this went for being my first kit. Really validated the research that we did, the components that we got, which part of it remains to be seen because obviously we haven't driven this thing yet. As you can see, it's still squeaky clean, brand new. The project took a little bit longer than I wanted it to, overall just because of life, monster truck shows, other obligations. It's a very busy time of year for myself and my wife also. But we did complete the build a few days ago here, and the body actually just showed up today, which is just in time because we're hitting the track for the very first time, actually later this afternoon, and we're going to get some practice in and see if we can at least start on getting some comfortability with the car. So first we got to start talking about the body here. This gorgeous piece was done by DRC Graphics. I believe they're based in Tennessee. You can look them up on Facebook. He knocked it out of the park. I showed him my logo. I said, hey, here's kind of the inspiration. I don't really know what else I want to do otherwise, but go crazy. So he got our orange, he got the blue, and I said maybe some white and or black, ? And he threw them both in there, and it looks awesome. Inside of the white is actually a ghost hex. There's like a hex pattern in there that you can see only like when the light is just right. Super cool. The design actually starts right in front of the windshield there that you can see, and it extends back. So I love that it goes up that far. Super cool. Really helps bring everything together. I will say that I think we just need some sort of decals on here. It looks a little bit empty / incomplete without that, but that's not a big worry. And just in case I don't feel like beating this thing up yet, I did get a spare body painted at just solid fluorescent orange, and we might use that to here and there just for practicing. We'll see. So if you've watched the build series, you would know that we put the wide side guards on this thing, which I believe is what comes with the NB48 buggy, the nitro version. So to accommodate the wider side guards, we got an aftermarket body here. It is a Leadfinger Racing Beretta V2. And I do like the look of the wide body. I think I'd like the look of the skinny body too. I haven't really seen it that much, but this just looks phenomenal. I can't wait to get some sort of graphics or something on here to really tie it all in. But this is going to look so good on the track this weekend. And we're going to be slow. We're not going to do well, but damn it, this car is going to look good going slow. And if we take off the body here, we'll just go over the components that we decided to throw in here. We went with a Team Coyote Crest 8 speed controller. They're a newer company on the market. They've done very well for themselves in the short time that they've been on the racing scene, though, from everything that I can see, winning championships and all that. And one thing that I really love about this is it has Bluetooth built in for tuning. So I didn't need to buy a separate programming card. I didn't need to buy a separate Bluetooth module. It's built into here already. I don't know why nobody had done that before, unless somebody has and they just don't do 8 scale or whatever the case may be. Behind that, we have a Hobbywing 1900 kV motor. We went Hobbywing just for the simple reason that I've used it in the Losi LMT build that we did a few years back on the channel here, which you can see. So I'm familiar with that brand, and I know that seems to be a pretty common combo when they're running the Coyote speed control is the Hobbywing to go along with it. Now, apparently, Coyote does have an 8 scale motor that's available, I believe, in Europe, and you can't get it in the US yet. Why? I don't know. They're winning championships left and right with it, though, so that's cool to see. I know Ryan Mayfield's running it, other Team Coyote drivers as well. But for now, we got the Hobbywing motor, and that should do just fine for us. We also have a Nitro Pro JTP, I believe, CT3 steering servo in here. I was thinking about going Pro Tech originally, and then I started hearing about Nitro Pro, and everybody recommended this brand to me. And the biggest advantage with the Nitro Pro is definitely going to be the warranty and the service. Even if you screw something up yourself, you just let them know, and it sounds like that they're going to cover it. So it's awesome to see a company that really stands behind their products. Outside of that, we have some Gens Ace Redline 2.0, I believe. 6300 milliamp 4S batteries. I got a good hookup at actually Rick's Hobby Farm for a good price on those. There's a guy there that is a dealer for them, so that's a no-brainer, but it just seems like the best bang for your buck for a battery to go race with. And then we also just have a MyLapse transponder, just a 2-wire. It sounds like that should work at most of the tracks we're going to. And then other than the electronics, we have J Concepts reflex tires. Right now I have green on here, but we also have blue that are yet to be glued up, but it sounds like those are going to be the 2 tires that really mostly are just going to work wherever we go, one of those 2 compounds, depending on the conditions. So it seems like a really good baseline for us being new and not having done this before. Now, what issues did we run into during this build? Very minimal, but the first, and it happened pretty quickly in the build, and probably the most annoying was the ring gear for either the front or rear differential. I don't remember which. You put a bearing on there, and then you put your outdrive over that. The issue that we were running into is we'd put a bearing on, and we'd put our outdrive through, but then the outdrive wouldn't come out on the other side far enough for you to get the pin in to secure it. So essentially, this hole right here is where I need to get this pin through to secure the outdrive. The problem is that when I put this shim on, I no longer have enough room to be able to slide the pin into the hole that's in here. And I noticed that this bearing is not sitting as far down as it did on the other diff. And I don't know if you can really see it, but that bearing is not sitting as far down on the ring gear. I reached out to Tekno. They mailed me a new ring gear and spare bearings as well, just in case the issue I was running into was the bearing. But I was able to use the bearing that came with the kit. The issue was the ring gear. So they sent us that. The only bummer is that they're in California, and the 2-day shipping they told me that they were going to give me actually turned into about 4 days. But that's not their fault. That's on UPS or USPS or whoever it was. In terms of the Tekno kit itself, the only other issue that I found frustration with was, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, is the rod ends, for your steering links, your camper links, all of that. We did grease the threads, and I don't know that that really helped. And I think the biggest thing that was throwing me off, especially when I did my first 1 or 2, was that it looked like the rod end was going to go on crooked. And then we learned that we kind of got it as straight as we could. If it went crooked a little bit, that was okay, because the farther you went down, the more that it did straighten out on its own. The frustration isn't even necessarily the assembly of the rod ends, but, taking your micrometer and measuring, threading, and it was just a lot of hassle to get that. But other than that, it all did go together well. And minus how time-consuming it wasn't terribly difficult, I would have to say. As far as the kit itself goes, those are really the only things that I can really talk about. The one issue that I did have where I needed help, Tekno was on top of it. They sent me what I needed, and it was resolved, and I can't speak any more highly about their customer service. They were super responsive after I initially reached out via email. As far as the non-Tekno issues that we ran into, I would have to say that they were both me issues in building my first kit, right? So you can see this actually in the last video in this build series where we installed the electronics on this kit. The Coyote speed control came with pre-tinned wires, which was very exciting. So I tinned the speed control, and then I went to go straight to putting those wires on the ESC. It seems the solder that they used to pre-tin those wires is not the same as what we would normally use. That's bad. That's really, really bad. This solder took a really long time to melt through, and the wire got so hot that I couldn't hold it or keep it straight or anything. So I learned very quickly that if I'm getting this 10 gauge wire with anything in the future and it's pre-tinned, I'm cutting that pre-tin off, because the solders look terrible. It took forever. It was easily the most frustrating part of this build. So future note, especially with these Coyote speed controls, cut off the pre-tin ends and then just make a new end and tin it yourself. But again, that's a me problem. Maybe I should have known better. The only other thing that I ran into an issue with, which is a me problem, and it's not a big deal. I forgot to put O-ring grease in the O-rings on the rear shocks, which the manual does not say that you need to do that, I believe. I could be wrong. But I did do it with the front, and I really want to make sure I don't have leaking shocks. I just don't want to deal with that. I've dealt with that in the low-C LMTs. Now, granted, those are not high-quality shocks, but I just want to make sure I don't have to deal with leaky shocks, if I can help it at least. So after I remembered that I built the rear shocks without putting grease on those O-rings, I'm like, man, I forgot. It's probably going to be fine, but I took them apart. I rebuilt shocks for the first time. So I got more oil. I dumped the oil out, completely disassembled the shocks, put them back together, and this time remembering to put grease on the O-rings, and everything is good to go. It feels nice and smooth, and I can't wait to see how this thing is going to handle. So I'm leaving in less than a couple hours here to finally go hit the track for the first time with this thing. The only thing I need to do is I want to make sure that I correctly set endpoints and trim and get this thing driving straight. And then the only thing outside of that is going to be figuring out settings that we have available in the transmitter and in the speed control, because I don't know what a lot of those are. I don't know if I should be setting certain things on the transmitter that can also be set on the speed control. You know, which one do I set it on? Whatever the case may be. That's another thing that we got to figure out. Depending on the turnout this weekend, it sounds like there might be a novice class, and there's definitely going to be an 8-scale e-buggy class. I might decide to run both, depending on how things are looking between practicing tonight and tomorrow morning. I'm not 100% sure. And we did pair this with a FlySky Noble NB4 Plus transmitter also. It came with a receiver when we get additional cars, which we will be doing. Those receivers are relatively inexpensive when you compare it to other brands who have transmitters and receivers. That Noble NB4 Plus really seems to be the best bang for the buck for somebody who's racing and trying to be competitive. It's not a $600 or $700 transmitter. It's $300. It has all the options that I'm sure I would ever need, and some really cool features on top of that, like the optional battery bank, which we'll probably always use. You can adjust the, angle of the steering wheel coming off the transmitter. It's got a full touch screen. If you want to check out more on the Noble NB4 Plus transmitter, I did do an unboxing of that. I'll make sure to link it in the description below so that you can check it out, and I can't wait to see how that's going to do with the car for the very first time. But it wasn't just the car and the transmitter that were a part of this build. I got a new toolbox system, which I'm going to be doing a video of in the future. I got quite a few new tools that I didn't have and needed to get, such as like shock pliers or different size hex drivers or nut drivers or different wrenches or whatever the case may be. I actually got a case for the transmitter from Harbor Freight as well, and once I have the video done on that, I'll make sure to link it here as well. But that's about all I can think of for everything that I wanted to mention in this video. I'm very excited to finally record this video, and I can't wait to get it out and really show you guys this build finally for the first time in its full completion. And the content's just going to keep coming with this thing. We're going to be doing a vlog video of our first race starting tonight. And any race after that, the season's going to be very short. We might only have 2, maybe 3 races that we can do at this thing this year, and then we're going to be getting into something else to keep us occupied for the wintertime. I am going to miss the LMTs and the X-Max that I sold off to kind of fund our new racing project here, but I'm really excited to enjoy the camaraderie in the racing scene. I'm really excited to get this thing on the track. I'm really excited to see how I'm going to do with it. I know this is going to drive a lot differently from all the monster trucks that you've seen on this channel the last couple of years. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment, and win, lose, or draw, well, mostly losing. I'm going to take you guys with me just because it's been a lot of fun to document all of this from the perspective of somebody that's really honestly brand new to all of this, especially to buggies, to racing. So I need to go ahead and I need to finish getting everything ready so that we can go and hit the track for the very first time. And you're not going to see it this clean again, probably. And in closing, I want to give a really big shout out to a few people that really helped me whenever I had questions or anything through the build here. So I want to start with Jordan with Combustion RC. He has a great channel. He just built one of these himself, and he has a great build video series that I actually referred to quite a few times when I was doing this. He also has some other great content, especially Dirt Track, which I know is really popular in the RC scene right now. It seems like that is really blown up. So if you're looking for some cool RC dirt oval content, make sure you check out some Combustion RC, but he has some other really awesome content coming along the pipes as well. I also want to give a really big shout out to Ben Sovacool. I hope that's how you pronounce his last name. Sorry, Ben. He gave me his number when we went and checked out Rick's Hobby Farm for the first time before we bought the kit and everything for it. He's been super accessible. He's answered all of my questions in great detail. And I just want to say a big thank you, Ben, for being such a crucial help. And I don't know that I would have been able to get through this as smoothly without you. And last but not least, I want to give a really, really big shout out to Pete from FierceRCSolutions.com. Pete was super responsive in answering any question that I had or giving me recommendations on things he think I might need. And he wasn't just trying to upsell me to make a couple bucks. The dude genuinely just wants to contribute to the RC hobby. I placed multiple orders with Pete, starting with actually this kit and a lot of the components for it. I actually placed an order from Fierce RC Solutions a couple days before I was going to be leaving town at one point, and I reached out to Pete, and I knew he was in the Chicago suburban area, and he provided me the address to the warehouse where he operates out of, and he let me come down, pick up my order, kind of showed me the whole facility, and it was really awesome. So if you need anything RC related, he carries a lot of great stuff. Check out FierceRCSolutions.com. He's running a lot of really cool sales all the time, especially around holidays. And if you ever have any questions or anything on placing an order or recommendations or anything along those lines, you can hit Fierce RC Solutions up on Facebook as well. Send him a message, and Pete's your guy, man. Pete rules. So in conclusion, I also just want to make sure I thank all of you for checking out these videos. It's a lot of fun making them. The idea isn't to get hundreds of thousands of views or anything like that, but it's really just to document the perspective of a newbie to this stuff, which I haven't really seen a lot of people do. And I thought maybe people that are even experienced might enjoy that type of thing. And I've heard from several people that have been a part of the hobby for a lot of years, and they said that they enjoy watching the perspective of a newbie. And that's really, really cool, because I wouldn't blame anybody if they didn't watch these videos, of course. And to wrap it all up, here is the Tekno EB48 2.2. It's time to get this thing on the track. Don't forget to like, share, comment this video, and most importantly, subscribe, because we're hitting the track with this thing, and you're going to want to see how that goes. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.